Hey everyone, welcome to my studio. My bench, I'm hoping to make some progress on this stepping stone. Maybe I'll be able to finish the skinks at least. I want to add the blue so I can see what it looks like with this blue border. And last week I said I was going to work on these. I ended up priming the white bases. It rained a lot and I do my painting outside, so that took almost all week just to get those pieces primed. And I still have these four. I have the 3 white ones and these 4 black ones to work on. So I'll have to collect up the materials that I need so that I can get those finished. I'm going to start with one of these black ones because I already have a method for this down, and so it goes pretty quickly for me. I pretty much use jewel tones in the ones that I've done so far, and this one I've decided to go with gold. So step 1 is to pull some of the tesserae. So I have some beads in gold, some mirrored glass in gold, some glitter tiles, and some little, I think these are called eco tiles, and some iridized eco tiles, and some really pretty gold glass beads, as well as ball chain. I'm not sure what I'll use. I think I also have Swarovski crystals, and so I just gather it all and make sure that I have enough to fill one of these in before I start. And then I have to mix up the adhesive because it's a 2-part adhesive. I use Apoxie Sculpt, which is supposed to be equal parts A and B. And on this project, I'm getting a little precise with it, and I'm going to weigh them just because I already have this lovely scale. So I have equal parts A and B. And to get it out of the container, I use the end of some tweezers. So I might do, let's see, I'm estimating here. I don't know if I'll have too much or not enough. That's 20. So with this, I want it to add up to 40 ounces, I guess. You don't have to worry. I used to eyeball it all the time. I just recently got the scale, so it's perfectly acceptable to eyeball it. But if you get off with something big like this, then it might not stick properly. I don't want that to happen. So the next step is to mix it for 2 minutes. The tray here is not very deep, so I'm going to try to put as thin of a layer as possible. And I found that if I roll it out, I can fit it in there a little bit better, since this is a longer shape. The working time with this epoxy is about 2 hours. And it starts to get pretty stiff and hard to work with. Now there's a hole for hanging at the top, so I'm gonna press this in and then I'm gonna poke the hole through so I can hang it after I get the putty in. And I'm just bringing it up so it's level with that. Maybe I made too much. Let's see. Just takes a little bit of working it in. Garden tour is going to be my Hillside Garden. I've got this dry creek bed that runs through the property of my backyard into a culvert down there. And the other side slopes up quite a bit to the top, and behind the rhododendron there's a shed. So I consider this my Hillside Garden. Last year I removed ivy from this entire area. This year, the only thing I've done is to keep up with the ivy and mulch it. I did add this autumn fern last year, and it's doing really, really well. I had these 3 hydrangeas, 1, 2, and 3, but I didn't even know that this one was here until this spring because it was dying so badly, being choked out by the ivy. And now it has a wonderful bloom on it. So that's great. These hostas were in a big fat bunch, so I took the ones from the back and moved them to the ends to sort of extend this edging. Last year I moved, oh, the Hillside Garden continues along this way. All of these hostas that are along the border, I moved from my front yard to this location last year, and they're doing fine. These are tiger lilies, and they bloom right when the hydrangea is sort of at its peak blueness. So it's really, really beautiful. I've got a fern, and then there's some space to plant something right here, but I've got some pretty deep roots of some dead plants. I'm not sure what they are, so I kind of held off this year, but I will be adding something, maybe more blue hydrangeas next year or the year after. I only really started gardening about a year ago, so, or fixing my yard anyway, and not just planting a few vegetables. That's it. I went down to Florida this week, Ormond Beach, to self-isolate with my family, and I made a little seahorse mosaic out of shells on the beach for y'all, since I wasn't going to be in my studio. And then I came upon this. We were crossing the bridge, the Broadway Bridge in Daytona Beach, and I could not believe my eyes when we got to the end of it and I spotted these mosaics. So on the way back, we had to stop so I could get out and take some photos. I noticed that they were made out of Mexican smalti. And when I did a little bit of research, I found out that there are 36 mosaic panels across this bridge of all different wildlife, manatees and dolphins, whales, cranes, panthers, even an eagle. There's my husband for scale. And I looked up and found that Lee Farr did the art design and the direction of the mosaic panels. Mexico-based company called Colorines, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, was hired to manufacture and assemble them. And then these ones at the base were a little bit rougher, but they were from a New Hampshire-based company called Color Co. That's it. Turns out this is the only thing that I got done in my studio this week since I was out of town. And that's putting it together. See you next time.